So, did you miss me? Hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Front Porch Brunch. That is right. It is 2026. It is the very first brunch of the year. We are glad to have you in our wonderful audience, wherever you are out there. Now, wait a minute. What is this? What? First insult from the wingnuts this year. I tell you. Good morning to you, WWG1. I still remember who you are. Yes, sir, I do. Look at this. She missed me. Mwah. Good morning, darling. Glad to have you here. Oh my goodness. Glad to have y'all in the audience this morning. Yeah, it is 2026. It is the first time back. Going to be getting into all kinds of stuff this morning. We got people settling in all over the place. And unlike WWG1, just in case you have forgotten who I am, my name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes known as the beau in the chapeau. On occasion, I'm called the fine fella in the fedora, sometimes referred to as the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, I am, above all else, your host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please, wait a minute, I need to correct myself. I'm trying to get into new habits this year. We are on Rumble, we are on X, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, if you do not care, if you would help a brother out, please do us some favors as always. Number one, subscribe to our channel. If you're on Rumble, you can subscribe there. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe there. And help us out. We are a going little concern. As always, we'd like to be a going big concern. Yes. Also, hit the bell for notifications. Let's make sure you're always aware when new stuff is coming out. Live streams, videos, that sort of thing. Also, hit the like button this morning. Doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, doesn't matter if you're on Rumble. Hit the like button and leave a comment. It really does help getting this little live stream out there to the masses so we can talk about some of the things going on. And finally, share the link around with your friends. It is so good to be back from a very extended holiday from social media for me. Took some time to rejuice the batteries. And, for heaven's sake, TBA, I am not a stranger. Next thing is stranger danger. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the wingnuts are in full force this morning. Yeah, he remembers me. He does remember me. I tell you what. Oh, yeah. Well, good morning, Tambert Lee. Well, good morning to you. How you doing out there? All right. Welcome back, Mr. God. Please don't tell me you think I look like Gabe Kaplan. That's all I'm asking. Just don't tell me I look like Gabe Kaplan, okay? Not that Gabe Kaplan was a bad guy, but it's just kind of, Anyway. Glad to have you all here this morning. Yeah, I'm back from an extended rest. Christmas was wonderful. Got to spend time with my family. New Year's was fantastic. The lady and I. Oh, wait a minute. Wow, wait a minute. The Bentley. Is this the Bentley that I think it is? GCS class of 90 Bentley. Is this you? If it is, give me a shout out. Give me a heck yeah in the chat or something. Oh my goodness. Oh gee. Class. Oh my. If that's the Bentley I think it is, we definitely got some OG people in the audience this morning. No, goodness me. Z Highness is here. Mwah. Okay, we got to do some proper hellos here. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness me. Oh yes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to introduce you to a very old friend of mine. And I'm not gonna dox him by saying where he's from, but if you see this gentleman, Tam Bertley, He is actually an old high school buddy of mine. We graduated class of 90 together. Yeah, class of 90. Jeez, that feels like forever ago. But yeah, I won't say where he's at here in the country. I know where he is, but he is a fine fellow on many a man of many talents, and has a wonderful family, and just a genuinely good dude. Genuinely good dude. And yeah, thanks a lot, WWG1. I genuinely appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Oy vey. Anyway, yeah, it's great to see all y'all this morning. All right, I gotta do a roll call. Who all is here? Who all is here? Let us see. Let's see. Mr. Scott Awesome is in the audience on the Rumble side. Glad to have you here, sir, and a fist bump in your general direction. Who else have we got? Well, we know WWG1 is here, as I've already been insulted more times than I can count. I know TBA is here. The lovely lady is here, and yes, we shout in your Miss Gypsy's in the audience. Mwah! Good morning, darling. Glad to have you here. Let's see. AH is in the audience. Good morning. Glad to have you here. And a hat tip in your general direction. Let us see. Yeah. We've said hello to Z Highness. Mwah. Good morning, darling. And who else? Who else is here? They're all going to start filtering in slowly but surely. But yeah, glad to have y'all here. Yeah, it was a wonderful time off for me. Christmas was great. The lady and I went out for New Year's, and we were styling and profiling. The lady was wearing a dress that just like she could waltz in the room and basically just everybody go, "Holy cow, who is that?" Now to kind of keep up with her, I stepped it up a little bit. I wore a tux this year. And let me tell you something. Um, and I realize everybody's situation is different, and not every guy can do this. But the traditions that I grew up in, and Bentley, back me up on this. The traditions that I grew up in, gentlemen it's a tradition that gentlemen, sort of dressed up if you went out on New Year's. If you took your wife or your significant other out on New Year's, you dressed up. And maybe you're not wearing a tux, but you're wearing a nice suit, tie, all that good stuff. I can't tell you the number of guys that I have seen out on New Year's. And again, I'm not trying to condemn. I'm really not. It's just kind of I guess it's eye-opening to me, the degradation of standards or traditions, that sort of thing, that just didn't care. They look like they did any other day of the week. And again, everybody's situation is different. I'm not trying to condemn. I'm not gonna lie, I got my tuxedo under very good financial circumstances. Well, the question has been asked, where did I rent it from? Well, Bentley, I'm gonna throw a name out there and you're gonna know exactly where this place. Skeffington's is still in business, my friend. That's right. Yeah, that's where old Front Porch got his tuxedo for New Year's. And they have a very special deal for the occasion. And yeah, so the lady and I went out on New Year's, had a wonderful time, spent time with my family on New Year's Day. And, since then, been rocking and rolling and just, rocking into the new year like everybody. And yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of New Year, has anybody in the audience been watching the college football games that took place Thursday night and last night? Oh, the deviled eggs got made, my friend. That goes without saying. And by the way, I've added a new item to my culinary repertoire. My mother and I jointly together this year made cranberry salad. She's had a recipe in her possession since the 1980s. And I asked her, I was like, look, can we make this together? She said, sure, I don't care. And there's a lot of reasons why I wanted to do it, but one of them is this. One, it's a lot of fun. I think cooking with your parents is very educational. And number two, there are certain traditions that ought to be passed down. In other words, people ought to learn how to make certain recipes in your family because, bless our hearts, we don't know how long we're going to have them here on this earth, and we'll just leave it at that. And I asked my mom, I was like, can we make this together? So yeah, I now have cranberry salad in my repertoire of things I can make. But the deviled eggs, yes, that definitely got made. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Skeffington's is still around. Yeah, in my hometown anyway. Well, and this is true. This is so true. Well, yeah, you're right, dear. You're absolutely right about that. You know. Yeah, well, and TBA, this was exactly my thinking. You know, that's exactly my thinking. Uh well, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. Totally get it indeed. So, I know where you're coming from, my friend. I know where you are coming from. So, I get it. But I've learned how to make the recipe for the cranberry sauce. Might make a slight modification the next time I put it together. But yeah, the New Year's, Christmas, the holidays were wonderful. College football, I tell you what, I watched the two games I'm referring to were Thursday night was University of Miami of Florida versus Ole Miss, which was a great game. Miami won. But last night, I saw something that I haven't watched in a long time. And when I say I haven't watched, it's not that I haven't watched college football. I watch college football all the time. But last night, University of Oregon played Indiana University. And for those of you who keep up with college football, Indiana University this year is on one of the most amazing runs that I've ever seen for a college football team. Now, I've never really watched until last night. I never really watched a complete IU game this year. I've heard about them. I've heard the scores. I've heard, yeah, they're really good. Their coach Signetti, he's a lot of fun, and he is. Oh God, he's like a $1 million meme maker by himself. That guy will have expressions on his face, and it just boggles the mind. I have seen more memes with Kurt Signetti in them than I can't tell you from a college coach. And he's also a quote magnet. I mean, that guy can get off more great quotes than anything I've ever heard. He's fantastic. So I finally watched an Indiana football game last night. I cannot tell you the last time that I saw a team play such a complete football game. Now, don't get me wrong. They made their mistakes. I mean, there were little mistakes they made, but nothing that cost them anything. And frankly, they blew, if you saw the box score, Indiana blew out Oregon by like 34 points or something like that. Yeah, they hung 50 on Oregon, 50 plus. Their offense is solid as a rock. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. Trick plays. Nah, it's not past them. Their defense is great. Their special teams is fantastic. They blocked a punt last night. Blew my mind. Just blocked a punt. And at no point in the game, at least from my observation, did Indiana let off the gas as far as playing hard. Now, the coach would probably disagree with me, but from my perspective, a fan sitting in a chair at home watching the game, whoo, let me tell you, that game was fun. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a fair comparison. I think that's a very fair comparison. Very fair. I agree with that. Well, and somebody brought this up, the transfer portal. This may be the first, and this observation is not original to me, but this may be the first year that the transfer portal really comes into effect, because now there's no one team or one conference that's just dominant. The transfer portal, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, players can enter what's called a transfer portal and move from one school to another. It's almost like free agency for college football players. And, if coaches see that a certain player's enter the portal, they can go after them and try and get them to their school. It has leveled up the playing field. It has radically changed the face of college football. And now there's a strong possibility that Indiana University, if they win in 9 days against Miami, will be national champions. And 3 years ago, that football program was a joke. Nobody thought, if you said 3 years ago that Indiana University may win the national championship, you would have been laughed out of the room and accused of being high as a kite. But it's just incredible. It's just incredible. All right. You did not come here to hear my observations about college football, but I'm sure you're very glad that I have expressed them. But yeah, let's get down to business. We've got memes all over the place. We got all kinds of stuff to get into. So let's just dive right in. We got 2 or 3 topics this morning that we are going to address. The 3 big ones. And I got to thank my buddy Bentley for being here this morning, because he's like, I can't wait to hear your take on Venezuela. I was like, well, you may or may not like what I got to say about this, but hey, I'm glad to have you in the audience, brother. And so let's get right to it. As we are wont to do, for those of you who are dropping by this live stream for the very first time, be it on X, be it on YouTube, be it wherever, we start our show. Well, now, sir, let's what you do in the privacy of your own home is your own business, sir. But we're glad you're here this morning, though whatever state you may be in. A fist bump in your general direction, sir. We start our show with what I call the merry memes, and Lord, have we got a ton of them. No. See, I disagree with that. I checked out the memes this morning. I can make them very applicable. Don't worry, brother. I got you covered here. You guys are good. It's a brand new year, as we have mentioned already, and as you all are fully aware, it's a brand new year. And even in a brand new year, we're still trying to figure out how to do things, how to get people to do some things, how to get them to not do certain things. Well, with that said, one of the great scourges of our society still to this day, despite everything we have done, is smoking. We're trying to get people to figure out a way to get people to quit smoking. Well, there's a new ad campaign that just might finally have cracked the code on how to get our society as a whole to stop smoking cigarettes. And they've got an early poster that we got our hands on. I'll let you guys take a look at it. It goes like this. For every cigarette you smoke, God takes away an hour of your life and gives it to Keith Richards. Now, folks, I don't know about you, and it's nothing against Keith Richards. I mean, but still, the fact that I'm losing an hour of my life to a cigarette, and this geezer who's older than dirt gets another hour, it's like, jig, yeah, okay, that's enough for me. I mean, if I were smoking, yeah, I'd quit. Nothing against Keith Richards, but still, absolutely crazy. Yeah. Well, honey, you hang on to that. You hang on to that thought, because we're going to get into this. We're going to get into Maduro. Don't you worry about that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Association. They've gone in together on this one, and they've come up with this advertising poster. So if you see these around, this might be the beginning of the end for some people's nicotine habit. Just saying. All right. What else have we got going on this morning? Chalk this one up to the things that we're trying to get people to understand. We always hear socialism is bad. Socialism is bad. You don't want to be involved in a socialist country. You don't want a socialist system in your country, yada, yada, yada. But you're always trying to figure out, how do you get a younger generation of people to understand that we should not go down this road? Well, again, And I'm not sure who came up with this. I'm not sure if this was Turning Point USA, Young America's Foundation, the Heritage Foundation. I don't know who came up with that one. But somebody has figured out a way to explain to young people why it is you should not, or you do not want, socialism in your country. And it goes a little something like this. And I'm just going to let this one speak for itself. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'm going to take a sip. Okay. Any questions? Well, there you go. There you go. Well, now wait a minute. First of all, that's TMI. And I don't know that your personal situations are older than that meme. Thank you very much. Oh my word, Kawan, you're just off the rails this morning, buddy. But I love you, but you're still off the rails. Oh my goodness. Goodness me. Yeah, yeah. So if you're trying to figure out how to get young people to understand why socialism is a bad thing, my recommendation, show them this poster. I think this might get through to them. Just saying. All right, what else do we have this morning? Oh, somebody asked about the has who was it? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's TBA said, has anybody seen the price of silver lately? Well, I have not looked up the price of silver. However, um, there have been some really interesting comparisons on the ratio between gold and silver throughout history, as a matter of fact. I don't know if you guys have, not only that, but there's also been an interesting comparison about, classical rulers and their relationship to gold and silver. And with that said, I put this chart up for your. Now, in Egypt, there was a time when the ratio of gold to silver was like 1-3, 1-2. Wow, that's pretty good. And then down through the years, you have during the time of Alexander the Great, ratio of gold to silver was like 1-15. You know, Middle Ages, it was like 1-11, etc. Look at Japan during the era of the shoguns, 1-5. Wow, that's good. And then you get down here to Clown America, we've got 1-186. Oh boy, yeah. Clown World, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy, indeed. TBA says silver to gold ratio pulled out of the ground has always been 1-7, so silver ought to be about $700 an ounce if that ratio holds true. Well, okay, I can see that. Interesting. All righty. All right, let's see. What else do we have here this fine morning? Oh. Um, you know, there's always a concern, even in the privacy of our own homes, that we're always being listened to. And some people are like, there you go again, being paranoid, yada, yada. But I ask you to consider the following. This lady had a discussion with her husband, and the husband was asked, why does he speak so softly at home? The husband replied that he was afraid of Mark Zuckerberg. The husband laughed, the wife laughed, Alexa laughed, Siri laughed, and then all of a sudden, Facebook ads started suggesting a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a conspiracy if they are out to get you. Just saying. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Yeah. Oh, by the way, totally unrelated, but have you heard what's going on in Iran? Man, it is crazy over there right now. I mean, it's not getting a whole lot of coverage here in the West, and this happens about once every 10 years in Iran. There is I won't say quiet because it's not exactly a secret, But there is a serious move afoot to take down the current government in Iran. As a matter of fact, an offer is being made to Donald Trump in this regard. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this or not, but people inside Iran, yeah, Iran locked down the internet. Yeah, that's how serious it's getting. The current regime in Tehran does not want the outside world to know what's going on. They have locked down their internet. They're not letting people inside their own country, post on whatever places on the World Wide Web that this is going on. But messages are still getting out. As a matter of fact, some people from inside Iran have made an offer to President Donald Trump, believe it or not. And the offer goes like this. They're offering 4,900 acres of some kind of a building complex in Tehran as a gift. If he helps free the country, they're offering that they can take this 4,900 acre complex and turn it into a hotel and casino. It's currently a shrine housing the founder of the Islamic Revolution's tomb. You can do whatever you want with it. So this is the tomb of the Ayatollah Khomeini. And apparently they're like, yep, you can do whatever you want with it. Like, well, I tell you what, call me crazy if you wish, but this looks about like something Trump would build. You got the gold leaf, you got the spire. Yeah, this looks like something straight out of Donald Trump's architectural vision. I'm just saying. This is TBA says they could do with it what they like. They did to Hugo Chavez to him. Well, yeah, really. All right. There are going to be other memes throughout this live stream, but for right now, as always, I want to thank WWG1. I want to thank he might rename it that. Who knows? It's Trump. I mean, you never know with this guy. But as always, I want to thank WWG1. I want to thank TBA. I want to thank anybody else who's contributed to the memes. Now, as you guys can see right down here is my Twitter handle. If you guys have a meme or a story idea or anything of the sort, hey, tag me on Twitter. Shoot me a direct message, whatever. Bentley, if you're out there, shoot me something, brother. And you got other ways of getting a hold of me too, but I'm just saying, if you got ideas or memes or whatever you want to put up, hey, the host reserves the right to use or not use what you submit. But I am a very gracious and benevolent dictator. So more often than not, odds are, yeah, you put it in, it might find its way up on the screen. And speaking of which, oh, yeah, you're right. I did. Okay. I said Twitter, drank. There you go. Speaking of which, I got TBA sent me something here. Oh gosh. Okay, TBA, this is getting used. Hello, Miss Pate. I saw you come in the room here a little earlier. I forgot to say hello to you. Happy New Year, darling. Glad to have you in the audience. All right, let's do it. Let's get into this. Let's get into this Maduro thing because, I got friends of mine out there that want my take on this, and I got a feeling I'm going to make a lot of people mad. I probably will, but I cannot help it. I've got my take, and people are absolutely free to disagree with me. And it's going to kind of lead into a broader subject that Gypsy asked me to address. And I think it's becoming painfully obvious to everybody. Anyway, let's talk about it. Venezuela. On January 3rd, 2026, the United States military executed a raid and we snatched Maduro straight out of Caracas. And I've got a whole bunch of different mixed thoughts about this. Like I said, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to wind up disagreeing with me, and that's perfectly fine. But the reverberations of the capture of Nicolas Maduro are still felt all over the world. Matter of fact, a phone call was hastily arranged between the White House and North Korea. We got a hold of some of the transcript, and apparently Kim Jong Un was very worried. Very worried. Matter of fact, he said to Trump, "We still cool, right?" So yeah, world leaders are very, very nervous. Which that, by the way, that's another angle of this I want to get into. But even the Almighty himself weighed in on the capture of Nicolas Maduro and said something. He posted on Twitter. That's right. God posted on Twitter and said the following. Yes, the Almighty has spoken. So, and I think the Lord is not very happy with what's happened here, but we'll get into that. Well, I will not speak for the Almighty, but let's just say he can speak for himself. I don't think he's too happy here, guys. Anyway. Oh, by the way, we even got I mean, when it came to this raid on Maduro, we had all kinds of stuff. And we I don't know what kind of kinky stuff Maduro was doing in his bedroom, but apparently he keeps a lot of cameras in there. And we even got an image from inside Maduro's bedroom when the guy was getting snatched out of bed at 3 a.m. along with his wife. Went something like this. Yeah. Yeah. The special forces that pulled the operation off. Daggone. Anyway, all right. Laying aside, the foolishness of it, let's get into this. How, first of all, regardless of my feelings about the capture of Nicolas Maduro, well, brother, you may be right. I'm just saying, you may be right. Yeah, that's some kinky. That's some serious kink. Anyway, regardless of my feelings about the capture of Nicolas Maduro, and I'm not necessarily saying something that everybody hasn't said in one form or another, but from a personal standpoint, my compliments to the members of the United States military, Navy, Special Forces, Marines, whoever was involved in this thing, Air Force. My compliments to all y'all. I mean, was there civilian loss of life? Yes. But as far as the execution of the mission you're given, according to everything I've seen so far, you guys did this flawlessly. So, and I don't know if you'll ever see this live stream or not, but as a citizen of the United States of America, and with respect to the uniform you wear to defend guys like me, a hat tip to you. You guys pulled off an absolutely flawless mission. So any criticisms that I have are not directed at you. You followed your orders. You were given a mission. You did it. And how did you? And that sort of begs the question: how did you do it? Well, we got a story here from the BBC. We'll read part of it. Headline: Spies, Drones, and Blowtorches, How the U.S. Captured Maduro. Article by Gareth Evans. He's a reporter for the BBC based out of Washington, D.C., and it goes like this. For months, U.S. spies have been monitoring Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's every move. A small team, including one source within the Venezuelan government, which, by the way, a lot of people said this, and I absolutely agree with them. There was no way in the world our military pulled off this job unless somebody on the inside was giving up Maduro or giving up information about Maduro. So now, Now we've got some confirmation. Somebody inside the Venezuelan government was given intel to our people. So just a little confirmation there. One source within the Venezuelan government had been observing where the 63-year-old slept, what he ate, what he wore, and even, according to top military officials, his pets. Interesting. Then in early December, a planned mission dubbed Operation Absolute Resolve was finalized. It was the result of months of meticulous planning and rehearsals, which even included elite U.S. troops creating an exact full-size replica of Maduro's Caracas safe house to practice their entry routes. The plan, which amounted to an extraordinary U.S. military intervention in Latin America not seen since the Cold War, was closely guarded. I got to disagree with you there. With all due respect to Gareth, the author of this article, we did this sort of thing with Manuel Noriega in Panama in the late 80s, early 90s. So, yeah, like I say, we've done this sort of thing before. Anyway, moving on. Congress was not informed or consulted ahead of time with the precise details set. Top military officials simply had to wait for the optimal conditions to launch. A little further into the article, the order from the president to begin the mission came at 22:46 Eastern Standard on Friday. Quote, we were going to do this 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and then all of a sudden it opened up and we said go, Trump told Fox and Friends on Saturday, hours after the midnight raid. In terms of scale and precision, it was virtually unprecedented, and it drew immediate condemnation from several regional powers, with Brazil's President Lula da Silva saying in the violent capture of Venezuela's leader, another extremely dangerous precedent for the entire international community. Going a little bit further into the article, and here you've got some pictures of there's CIA Director Ratcliffe, Secretary of War Hegseth, there were U.S. airstrikes at Caracas, various places, airports. As strikes rang out around Caracas, U.S. forces made their way into the city. They included members of the elite Delta Force, the U.S. military special missions unit. Sources told the BBC's U.S. partner, CBS, they were heavily armed, carried a blowtorch in case they had to cut through metal doors of Maduro's safe house. Troops arrived at Maduro's location shortly after the strikes began at 2:01 a.m. Trump described the safe house as a military fortress in the heart of Caracas, saying they were in a ready position waiting for us. They knew we were coming. The troops took fire when they arrived. One of the U.S. helicopters was hit, but still able to fly. Quote, the apprehension the force descended into Maduro's compound, moved with speed, precision, discipline, said General Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. They just broke in. They broke into places they were not really able to be broken into, steel doors that were put there for this reason. It was only as the operation, which saw Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, seized, was unfolding that Rubio began notifying lawmakers about the action, a decision which has since prompted anger from some members of Congress. And on it goes. So, yeah, we got him. We got him. We got him. We got Nicolas Maduro. He's ours. Matter of fact, we even have some video of him being brought to New York City. This is a view from inside, I guess, Southern District of New York. Check Maduro in the center. And wow, those guys look familiar. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. We got him. We sure did. Yeah, I'd say anger from the Congress because they couldn't leak it. Yeah, that sounds about right. If your memory is probably better than mine on this one, but yeah, we've done this sort of thing before. We got him. We got Maduro. We're doing our thing in Venezuela. Now I have a question. Exactly what are we doing in Venezuela? What are we doing in Venezuela? Well, we're taking out a bad guy. He's bringing drugs into the country. All right, so's the president of Mexico. Are you going to go down there and snatch her? What about Colombia? Most of the cocaine that gets into this country comes straight through Colombia. We're going to go down to Colombia and snatch him or her or a group of him or hers? What are we doing in Venezuela? Yeah, but the drugs. This isn't about the drugs. This is not about the drug. I don't know if the president of Mexico is hot. Not my concern. But thank you for asking. But the drugs, man, he's look at the drug boats. We shot down those. You shot those drug boats as a pretext. It was a setup. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, look, don't not get me wrong. I think Nicolas Maduro, like most leaders in Central and South America, no, not most of them, I should say, some of them anyway. Some of the leaders in Central and South America, Nicolas Maduro is exactly that. He's a jackbooted thug. He's not a particularly nice person. No, I would not want to sit down and drink a beer with him. Don't want to do it. Forget it. I want nothing to do with the guy. Don't want anything to do with his regime. If we do dealings with him, I want business dealings, not military dealings. I mean, this goes to the heart of my problem with what we did down there. Okay. So let's just put cards on the table. There are a lot of people in the world that I know are bad people. Okay. And they're bad to one degree or another. I mean, you could have anything from, you're a very brutal dictator that's denying your people rights that are God given and natural and are a part of nature. On one end of that extreme of being a bad person, then the other end of the extreme, you could be, ruthless killer. You kill hundreds or thousands of your own citizens or, citizens of other nations. You make war on your neighbors without provocation, yada, yada, yada. There are a lot of bad people in the world. Okay. Does that necessarily mean I want the United States military to go around being the world's policeman and using our military might and risking the lives of our soldiers because somebody puts my nose out of joint? No, I do not want that. And that's my problem with what we did in Venezuela. This is the very thing that Donald Trump was elected to stop. And let me take that one step further. This was the very thing Donald Trump promised he would not do. He promised the American people no more foreign military interventions, no more foreign wars. Well, we haven't declared war on Venezuela. We sent troops into a sovereign nation and kidnapped their leader. Pardon my French, what the hell else do you call that but an act of war? We launched strikes into Venezuela without provocation. We were not fired upon first. Well, but they've been shipping drugs into the country. That's apples and oranges, folks. That is apples and oranges. Those are two different things. Do you know how many drug runners have brought drugs into this country over the years? Have we blown them up out in the middle of the Caribbean? No, not until Maduro. Why? Because we wanted to do something specific in Venezuela. Exactly. Nobody voted for this. Okay, I could agree with that. We extracted a drug kingpin and we're using the military to do that? Really? Really? Deposing an illegitimate leader who was elected fraudulently, extracting him may not be considered an act of war. Okay, but isn't that sort of a question for the people of Venezuela to decide? Well, he controls the military. They're never going to get to decide it. Maybe. Not our problem. Okay, I have a question. How do we know that? Look, I came here this morning knowing that I'm probably going to be on the wrong side of on a giving a very unpopular take. Okay, and that's fine. We can respectfully all disagree on this. I mean, I'm sorry. What we did in Venezuela is just flat wrong as far as I'm concerned. Plus, this goes back to something I've always said when it comes to United States foreign policy. We spent so much time figuring out how to do it. We didn't stop long enough to ask if we should. Now, let me give you guys a question. Okay? Let me give you guys a question. Let's just for the sake of a hypothetical. Let's assume that, somewhere in the wee hours of the morning in Moscow, Vladimir Putin walks into the offices of his military commanders of the Russian army or Russian special forces, whatever you call them, and says, "Gentlemen, I want to put a mission in motion. I want you to prepare a plan to send an extraction team into Kiev to the presidential palace of Volodymyr Zelensky. And I want you gentlemen to extract Zelensky and his wife, bring them back to Moscow, where the unelected president of Ukraine, can stand trial for war crimes against the Russian people." So a few weeks go by, a few months maybe. The Russian military comes up with a plan. They present to Putin. Putin green lights it. Extraction team goes down to Kiev, hauls Zelensky and his wife up to Moscow to stand trial. Now, here's my question. If we were to protest this action, and I don't mean for theatrical purposes, I mean legitimately try to protest it, would we even have a leg to stand on? If we tried to legitimately protest what I just described, would we have a leg to stand on? No, we wouldn't. Why? Because we just went down to Venezuela and did that very thing. And furthermore, in the early 1990s or late 80s, we went down to Panama and did that sort of thing. Well, why stop there? Let's get more recent than that. We went in 2003 into Iraq and extracted Saddam Hussein. Or let's talk about Libya. I mean, my point is this. The United States government has opened the door. If other countries wanted to do this, and I'm not saying they will, okay? I'm not saying they will. Because honestly, some of these countries that we hold in contempt and we seem to believe are beneath us, in some respects, have more consideration of international law than we do. But if we've opened the door for this sort of thing, snatch and grab, to happen all over the world. If Xi Jinping in China wanted to extract the leader of Taiwan tomorrow, ain't a thing the U.S. can say about it. Nothing. We have unlocked Pandora's box Oh, we may not be opening it, but we daggone sure have made it easy for everybody else to do it, and there ain't a thing we can do to protest it. Nothing. Now, somebody's going to come back and say, well, it doesn't matter if we protest it or not. It's all theatrical anyway. Oh, maybe not. But I'll go back to my question. What are we doing in Venezuela? Did we get any kind of a war powers resolution out of the Congress? Did we have any kind of discussion about, the justification for why we're doing this? Because I still go back to the weeks leading up to this whole thing. I heard drugs, I heard oil, I heard voting machines, I heard everything else. But I still don't have a clear idea. I still don't have a clear idea why we did this. Now, did we do the right thing? Well, if someone can explain to me the justification for why we went down there and got him, okay, sure. Let's hear it. But we're saying he was pumping drugs in the country. Well, a lot of people pump drugs in the country. We gonna go get them? I mean, it's just, yeah. And here's a meme that yeah. Now I have heard this. I have heard this WWG1. It's possible. I have heard this theory. The theory goes something like this. Smartmatic and maybe even Dominion were created in Venezuela, then exported all over the world. The theory goes that Maduro has all the information and the Justice Department is trying to get him to turn state's evidence, offer all that up, and we will use that against the Democrats, and we will expose all this. Okay, possible. Okay, could be that's one of the reasons we did it. We'll see. Robert Lowry, you old son of a gun. Good morning. A fist bump to you. The third world country we should be fixing is America. That's my biggest gripe with it. There's another angle to this that ties in from the Greenland story that I want to get into. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a great question. And for Trump's next trick, he's going to get the Democrats to defend Maduro. Okay, we'll see. Now, another theory I've heard, and this I can understand, although I don't agree with I don't agree with the means, but the ends I understand. One of the arguments made is, well, we're in Venezuela to blunt China's influence. Okay, look, everybody knows, and it's no great secret, China's been messing around down Central and South America for the past 20 years, trying to buy their way into governments and influence and contracts and business and everything else. So I've heard that theory, that we're weakening China's position because China buys a lot of oil from Venezuela. And if we control the oil, well, we, put some serious kink into the plans of the Chinese. Well, that may not work out as well as everybody thinks it does. I got a story here from NBC News. Headline: Why Trump's Venezuela raid may not stop China's influence in South America. Quote, we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States, Marco Rubio told NBC News this week. Article written by Jennifer Jett. Oh, I love that name. That name's cool. By JJ. We have the following. With the surprise capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, President Trump declared U.S. authority over the entire Western Hemisphere and warned China is not welcome in our backyard. Trump administration officials have cited the need to counter China's growing influence in the region as a justification for the attack on Venezuela, which counts the country as its biggest customer for oil. Quote, "We're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operations for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States," said Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Experts say China, the world's second largest economy, is not likely to be dislodged from Latin America, where it's been investing in cultivating ties for more than 20 years as U.S. attention was focused elsewhere. Though the Trump administration has reportedly ordered Venezuela to sever economic ties with Beijing, Energy Secretary Chris Wright told Fox News on Thursday the U.S. was not going to cut off China from Venezuelan oil, and the country would continue to buy it just like the rest of the world. China is far more dependent on Venezuela for oil, while Beijing buys the majority. Excuse me, let me reread that again. I misread that. China is far from dependent on Venezuela for oil. While Beijing buys the majority of Venezuela crude oil exports, they make up only a single-digit percentage of all Chinese oil purchases. Nonetheless, Beijing has strongly condemned the U.S. strike on Venezuela and its claims to the country's oil, saying, quote, "The legitimate rights and interests of Chinese and other countries in Venezuela must be protected." The United States' reckless use of force against Venezuela and its demand that Venezuela dispose of its oil resources on the principle of America First constitutes bullying behavior, Foreign Ministry spokesman Mao Ling said Wednesday. Now, this gets to something else. Remember what I said? That great line from the movie Jurassic Park? You spent so much time figuring out how to do it. You didn't stop long enough to ask if you should. Here's another question that I have. If this is about oil, and frankly, from my perspective, I'm sorry, I think it is. And you know what? I could be proven wrong. I could be proven wrong. If this is about the oil, how long are we going to have to be down there? And who's going to make those decisions about the oil? Are we going to let the government of Venezuela do it? I mean, Trump has signaled that, we'll step out there when there's a stable government in place. Well, define stability. What does that look like? Does that mean a new presidential election in Venezuela? And if so, are we backing a candidate? Maybe not openly, but I mean, are we doing it? I mean, like I say, I've got serious problems with this. And I said this leads into something that Gypsy asked me to talk about this morning. And it's this. Is this the Trump we voted for in 2024? Because this White House, and I'm not saying this is true on every issue. There's a lot of good things they're doing. Okay. A lot of good things are getting done. But this is not what people voted for. Not at all. If you're needing evidence that this is not the same Donald Trump that we elected in 2016, then I give you, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Venezuela. I enter into Exhibit A, Venezuela, in the court of public opinion. This is not what we voted for. Now, there was a question that was asked a little earlier, and I saw it flow through here. So should the U.S. let China, Russia, or whoever to continue to infiltrate South America? What's the better solution? No, I'm not saying they should. I don't want them to. I mean, look, in one respect, this is a long overdue response to what exactly you're talking about. I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying let China, Russia, or whoever, get a hold of these countries to the point that it's a detriment to us. My problem with it is we're using the United States military, frankly, for regime change. The very thing we said we'd never do. Now, maybe I'm being a little bit naive about how the world works, and that's probably true. But we told the American people we would not do this. Elect this man to run the government. We will not engage in this sort of activity. We just did. So, if this is about oil, and again, you guys might be right. You guys might actually, you might be right. Maybe it's more than oil. But if this is about oil, how long are we going to be down there? How long are we involved? Who is involved? Who's making the decisions? How do we get out? What does the exit strategy look like? And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say hello to this cat. Welcome in the great Culture Casino. He is a social media, uh, not just social media junkie. He's just a great guy. I've met him before. And thank you for being in the audience this morning. I genuinely do appreciate it. Follow his channel on YouTube. He is a wealth of information on any number of different subjects. Politics, pop culture. Absolutely. If you're not subscribed to Culture Casino, do it. Do it today. And glad to have you here, sir. Venezuela is part of a larger switch in South America. Okay. And again, there are probably factors that go into this that I'm not realizing, I'm not seeing. I don't dispute any of that. I just have serious problems with everything that was done and how it was done and where we're going. Reconsider that these oil interests already knew were already American. They are using American assets to extract and process that oil. Okay, that's fair point. Absolutely fair point. There were companies that went into Venezuela in the 90s and early 2000s, put down billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And now the president is trying to get them to go back in again. And what's it going to take to get that country up and running to the point their oil production is now like it once was? Well, according to CNBC, it could take anywhere upwards of $100 billion. That's what they're going to have to spend to restore the infrastructure to get the oil production back to where it once was. From CNBC, and this was published Friday, it's an article by Spencer Kimball. Trump says U.S. oil companies will spend at least $100 billion to rebuild Venezuela's energy sector with U.S. protection. And by the way, be careful here, because the oil companies have already told the president, hey, we don't feel comfortable going down there and spending money to rebuild this stuff if we don't have any guarantees that our investment is going to be protected, which, by the way, is a perfectly legitimate argument. I get that. I get that completely. So if they won't go in to restore the oil infrastructure unless they get some kind of protections, what does the protections look like? Are we talking monetary guarantees? Are we talking military presence? I mean, what are we talking about here? And again, all of this may work out to the betterment of America, and I hope it does. I just don't feel good about this. And it's not because I'm trying to be squeamish about it. I'm not. I know there are times in the history of the world when world leaders, regardless of whether it's a U.S. president or a prime minister of a nation or whomever or a premier, you've got to do things that sometimes are unpopular, and you just got to pull the trigger and do it. I get that. But I just don't see how this is justified. There have got to be other ways to get Chinese or Russian influence out of the Western Hemisphere without us having to go down there and engage in what I feel is gunboat diplomacy. We went down there and snatched the leader of a nation. Was he legitimately elected? Not legitimately elected? I don't know. All I know is we used our military assets, went in, pulled this guy out. We've got him up in New York State. Oh, by the way, I hear his cellmate is Sean Combs. You know what the first thing Sean Combs said to Nicholas when he got in the cell? Hey, buddy, I hear you're into oil. Okay, was that too soon? I don't know. I don't know. This does not feel right. This just does not feel right. And I'm sorry, I just okay. Culture says, look what was happening to other U.S. assets in South America, e.g. Okay, fair enough. That I can understand. That I can understand. Legitimate U.S. assets. There are treaties in place that say that the government of Panama cannot let other people control how the canal is handled. That I can understand. There's treaties in place, there's agreements, long-standing agreements, 100-plus-year-old agreements between us and the Panamanian government. That one I can understand. This? Ay, ay, ay. Oh, do not ask this question. Do not ask this question. You know you just opened it up. You know you did. Well, I'll say this much. You asked the question, wonder what's going to happen next. This is just me making a prediction. Again, I could be dead wrong. Keep your eyes on Iran. If the reports coming out of Iran are true, one of two things is going to happen here. Either A, the regime currently in control of the Islamic Republic of Iran is going to do what they've been doing for the past 50 years and engage in a brutal crackdown to maintain their control. Or B, the people of Iran are going to lead a revolt and finally take these guys out politically and restore some, or establish, or maybe even reestablish some type of government in Iran that is markedly different from what is currently there. You asked the question, what's going to happen next? Folks, and again, I'm not any kind of a prophet. I'm just a guy that reads the news much like everybody else here. Keep your eyes on Iran. This could get real interesting real fast. TBA says, okay, hadn't heard that, but that is true. Yeah, I've been hearing the same thing. Been hearing the same thing for a while. And like I said, this usually happens about once every 10 years in Iran. But right now, it's the reports coming out of Iran are very, very interesting. And don't get me wrong, my prayers are for the Iranian people that they find their way to freedom. And hopefully they are able to do so without bloodshed, and that they're able to establish a government that is beneficial to their people. Do I expect them to have, overthrow the current regime and set up some kind of U.S. style government? No, not necessarily. Do I expect them to do everything we would do? Lord, I hope not. But I hope they find their way to freedom. I really do. I had her on my live stream a while back. One of my favorite people, Nina Infinity. She grew up in Iran. She's still got family over there. And before the Ayatollah Khomeini and his people took over in 79, Persia was an entirely different nation. Oh, real? Oh, now wait a minute. Are you making a joke about this, or is this true? Now? Are you making it? Now, I'm not trying to be funny. Are you serious? Are you making a joke, or is this actually true? Oh yeah. That's exactly what happened. I remember the last time this went down. Or at least in my recent memory, it was like 2009, and the Iranian people were looking to the West, and they were just begging President Obama to say something, not necessarily intervene with the military or anything else, just say something to support them. Not a word. Now, what's Trump going to do in all this? I don't know yet, but keep your eyes on Iran, because this is about to get interesting. I really do believe that. I really do. All right. Let's shift gears. Well, would you looky here? Good morning, you good-looking thing, you. How are things up in Connecticut? Up in Connecticut. Good morning, girl. Yes, ma'am, I know exactly who you are. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hope you are feeling better. Hope you are recovering from recent illness. Glad to have you here, darling. Oh, and culture, you're absolutely right about this, my friend. Absolutely right about this. And they should be. They should be roasted for not covering what's going on in Iran. Of course, they're a little too busy worrying about Ukraine, like most everybody else in Great Britain. Or maybe they're also a little worried about, Nigel Farage, but that's a whole other subject. Anyway. All right, quick commercial, and we'll move on to our next topic. For those of you who have found your way to this live stream, for those of you watching us on X, and oh my goodness, we got a nice little audience over there on X. And by the way, you folks over there on X, do not be afraid to drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. I'm pretty sure I've got it set up so you can make comments. But anyway, yeah, for those watching on X, for those watching on YouTube, for those watching on Rumble, we're glad to have you here. You have found your way to Front Porch Brunch. This is a live stream that I do on the weekends. My name is Brian Trippett, by the way. I'm known as social media as the Front Porch Conservative. And you found your way to my live stream on Saturday morning. We hang out together, before the weekend really gets going in earnest. Hang out together, drink some coffee, or drink whatever, and talk about what's going on in the world and trying to make sense out of it all. And everybody gets to give their take. Like I say, sometimes I have takes that people don't agree with, which is perfectly fine. People can disagree with me, and we can all bring information to the table. We talk about it and say, hey, did you hear about this? Did you know about this angle? We're glad to have you here. And if this is your cup of tea or your adult beverage of preference or whatever, hey, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and on Rumble? And also leave a comment in chat. Hit the thumbs up button. It really does help. Share the link around with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. All right. New topic. Oh, by the way, before we get into that, before we do, there is we're trying new things here on the channel, and one of the things we're trying to do is help people. It's almost like a swap shop mentality. Like if someone has something for sale, we're willing to give them a shout out, because you try to help people out at wherever you can. And someone forwarded me this morning. And I don't know if anybody would have an interest in this, but if you have friends or family members that are looking for a new vehicle, Just let them know that this is out there. This was put out, I guess, on Craigslist. Somebody is trying to sell a 2007 Honda Pilot. The price on this is just dirt cheap. My goodness, either $500 or best offer. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good deal. Truly a good deal. Let's see. What are the details here? Selling my sister's used 2007 Honda Pilot. It's maroon. This is a little bit sketchy. 2 bullet holes in windshield and some damage to the front. Selling as is for $500 or best offer, preferably to a Somali family in need. It's what she would have wanted. Ew. Yeah. Ew. Okay, that's a well, hey, look, she's trying to sell a car. I don't know what the circumstances were that got the bullets in the windshield or the bump in the front, but anyway, yeah. Okay, I will freely admit that was a little bit macabre, but it does lead us into a discussion of our next story, and that is the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. And there are all kinds of angles from which to approach this. Let me start off with just my general take. And then you guys just as always just jump on in. The water's warm, okay? Oh my goodness. What in the world? Hold my cow. From up in Connecticut, 2026 must be better than 2025. Amen to that, sister, and thank you for the super chat. Oh my word. Well, have a good morning. Happy weekend to you too. But yeah, thank you for this. This is so generous of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, genuinely appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. My goodness. What a way to start off 2026. Holy cow. Anyway, hold my cow, as the joke goes. Anyway, while there are moments that I disagree with the actions of the federal government or their respective agencies, I also understand that they have the right, so long as they're within the bounds of the law, they have the right to execute the duties that they are assigned. Okay. And y'all are sitting out there going, that's the most generic, bland take I've ever heard of. You're right, but I'm going somewhere with this, so hang with me. Okay. Agencies of the federal government have the right to engage in the activities for which they are purposed, provided that they are acting within the bounds of the law. All right. Immigration, customs, and enforcement. Whether you agree with it right now, disagree with it, that's fine. Right now, they are engaged in a mission of trying to round up as many people who are here in the United States illegally. All right. And again, you can agree with that, disagree with that, that's fine. But the current administration, that's what they want ICE to do. ICE has been dispatched all over this country. Some people will argue too much have they been dispatched. Some will say not enough of them have been dispatched, etc. Okay, we can argue about that. So ICE goes into Minnesota, and as you all are fully aware, a few days ago, an ICE agent shot and killed a resident of Minnesota. My dear, you do not need to apologize to us for anything. Okay? We love you, and we're just happy you're here. So you just do what you got to do, and we'll deal. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Hang on. Hang on, guys. I got to see this. One moment, please. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, now I agree with you. We're taking this with a grain of salt, TBA. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got to jump back to a topic we were talking about a moment ago. Talking about Iran, TBA just sent me this. Nioa Berg, who is a advocate for Iranian monarchy restoration. Okay, fine. We have the following. Just waking up, the Shah of Iran has delivered, and the Shah, keep in mind, is out of power. This is not someone who's currently running the government. He's calling for the beginning. Let's see. Let me read this. The Shah of Iran has delivered the following call. Begin taking over cities 6 p.m. local time tonight and tomorrow, focusing on regime power structures rather than only streets. Bring supplies or whatever's necessary to stay out for longer periods of time. Quote, I am planning my imminent return to the homeland, his own words. This message was broadcast both online and through Manoto and Iran International. Starlink messages confirm most Iranians have received it. Around the same time, Marco Rubio says America stands with the people of Iran. Rubio has met with the Shah in the past. Blackout is still in effect, but Starlink is still a lifeline. This is a picture of the current Shah of Iran, who is in exile. I believe that's the case. Yes, I believe that is the case. So, yeah, he's dead. He's a dead. If that's his son, he's a dead ringer for dad. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt. We don't know, how straight up legit this is. Not legit. We don't know. But hey, TBA brought it to the table. I'm putting it out there for you guys. All right. Minneapolis. An ICE agent shoots a citizen in Minneapolis. And as you might expect, all hell breaks loose. I've got a 3-minute statement here from Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, and we're going to listen to some of this. So check it out. This was at a press conference on the killing of Renee Good. That's the name of the lady in Minnesota who was killed by the ICE agent. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
In Minneapolis, when a tragedy strikes, there's one word that summarizes what is most important, and that
riots. Anyway,
word is integrity.
Oh,
it's integrity. Not a time to bend the rules. This is a time to follow the law. This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them, making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way. The fact that Pam Bondi's Department of Justice and this presidential administration has already come to a conclusion about those facts is deeply concerning.
Now, hold on a minute. We're going to explain. I'm going to explain what he's talking about here in just a minute. The Department of Justice is saying, hey, this was self-defense. We'll get to that in a minute, but that's what he's talking about. So anyway, back to Mayor Highfry.
The facts that from the very beginning, they're calling the victim a domestic terrorist. They're calling the actions of the agent involved as some form of defensive posture. We know that they've already determined much of the investigation. And even if they haven't, there is the appearance that there is some conclusion drawn from the very beginning.
Well, there's a conclusion drawn on the basis of on the basis of the video clips we've seen. And Gypsy asks me the following. Hang on a minute. Did you see the clips of Minneapolis police running away from the captures? No. If you can find them fast, tag me real quick. Let me know that you tag me because I want to see this. Anyway, now we're coming to these conclusions, Jacob or Jakey. on the basis of what we've seen. And again, I'll explain what we're talking about here in a minute. Anyway, back to his statements.
If not hide from the facts, why not embrace them? If it's not a problem to have additional people at the table that have a deep commitment to the process and transparency and have run these investigations before, then why not include them in the process? The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at the state of Minnesota has consistently run these investigations before. They have done so without bias. They've done so with a great deal of expertise. This is not some radical, way out there group. This is a group that is formed by experts who understand how to investigate. Many of them have been police officers themselves. So our ask is really simple here. Our ask is to embrace the truth.
And are you talking about yourself or the federal government? Anyway.
Our ask is to include the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in this process because we in Minneapolis want a fair investigation.
And the implication is you're not going to get one, but okay, let's keep going.
Is it deeply concerning that this administration from the very get-go is drawing the conclusion that they may ultimately come to? Of course it is. And if you got nothing to hide from, then don't hide from it.
Who's hiding?
Include local experts in the process. We got nothing to hide from here. All we want in Minneapolis is justice.
Okay, so do we.
And the truth.
So do we.
And speaking of the truth, let me give you another one. I have heard countless people talk about Minneapolis, many of them who have never been here, as some form of post-apocalyptic hellscape, as a place that is dangerous. Well, let me give you a statistic. 50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE.
We're only 9 days into the year, dude. Seriously? You're going to try that is sophomoric at best. 50% of the shootings this year have been because of ICE. And we're 9 days into the year, buddy. Really? Anyway, back to his musings.
In other words, we've only had 2 shootings. One of them has been ICE. We are a safe city. ICE is making it less so.
Hold it right there. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Safe for who? Are you talking about safe for the citizens of Minneapolis? Or are you talking about safe for illegal immigrants? See, before we go any further, I've got to comment on this. We're here right now because Minneapolis, like Los Angeles, Chicago, name the major metropolitan area in this country, we're here now because you guys have declared yourself to be a sanctuary city. Illegal immigrants can come to your city and you will not help the federal government enforce legitimate federal immigration law. So when you say your city is safe, I want to know who exactly you think it's safe for. Anyway, moving on.
We are a city of unity, but ICE is trying to divide us and tear us apart.
No, ICE is trying to enforce the legitimately enacted laws of the government of the United States to remove individuals who are here in this country in an unauthorized and therefore illegal manner. Okay? You can sit over there and sing Kumbaya to yourself all you want to, big boy. I don't care. All right? ICE has one job. Get them out. You are interfering with said job. So please don't give me that, well, you're making us less safe. No, you're making everybody unsafe by the fact you're not willing to help. You want to disagree with ICE? Fine. Take it up with the president, but do not impede them in the implementation of their duty. Moving back to his musings.
For every one of the people that you see standing here behind me, they have more than 1,000 people behind them. They have people that are committed to their neighbors, committed to integrity, committed to justice, and committed to getting the truth. We will not back down from it.
Okay, fine. Neither will we. And here's my question, old Jakey. Okay. Here's my question. If the truth is found out that this officer acted in self-defense, are you going to back him up or are you going to still fight this thing? Hey, Jakey, you're going to, if it's found out. Now, you ask the question, well, how are we going to find this out? Okay, let's start with that one. Let's start with that one, shall we? Now, here is the the video I'm going to play for you right now is what most everybody has seen or what they first saw. Now, here's the vehicle in question. Okay. Here's an ICE agent. Here is the spouse of the woman who was shot. Okay. Now, I'm going to try. Let me see if can I run this thing in slow-mo? Yeah, let me run this. Let me run this. Let me run this at half speed. Okay. Here's what most everybody saw. Through. Here's a truck. ICE agent gets out of the truck. Okay. Second ICE agent gets out of the truck.
No!
Now, let me. All right, now. You see this guy back here? This is the ICE agent where my pointer is at right now. Now, let me run this through. He draws gun. Puts 3 shots in.
Oh my fucking god! What the fuck?
Okay. Now, I'm going to back this up and start it over. Okay. And we're going to do this at normal speed. And here we go. All right. 2 ICE agents get out.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking god! What the?
Okay. That's what everybody has seen. Okay. That's what everyone has seen. Now, how accurate is it? That's just one angle of it. Okay. That's just one angle. Now, somebody took the liberty of slowing this down and actually doing a close-up. I want you to watch this. Now, here's the agent from the truck trying to get into the car to get the driver out. In the background, you're going to see the other ICE agent. Backing up. There's the other ICE agent. Oh, now let me do this. Watch the wheels very carefully. They started to move forward. I'm going to run this through. Watch. Backing up, moving forward. Officer draws gun. Officer draws gun. Fires. Okay. Now, one more video. Okay. And this one may be the coup de grace as far as as far as proof that the agent acted in self-defense. And here we go. This runs about 45 seconds. All right, there's the ICE agent out of the car on the other side of the SUV.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later.
Now, I have a question. I just noticed something. How come if these people live in Minnesota, what's she doing with a Missouri plate? I just noticed that. That's a Missouri plate. This lady supposedly from Minnesota. What's she doing with a SUV with a Missouri plate on it? So anyway. Now, moving forward.
Just so you know, it'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later.
No, not necessarily true, but okay.
That's fine. U.S. citizen, former.
Okay. Cars rolling through.
You want to come at us? You want to come
Now, this is from the ICE agent's own camera.
at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Okay, now, you see this guy over here? He's the one that got out of the pickup truck. Okay? Here's the pickup truck back here. What you're seeing is from the angle of the ICE agent who took the shot. Okay?
Get out of the fucking car.
Now, he starts moving toward in front of the vehicle. The vehicle's backing up.
Get out of the car.
Backing up. Now, watch what happens next. That thing starts rolling forward. Look, I don't know how you call this anything other than self-defense. How do you call this anything other than self-defense? Yeah, you can hear the impact. As a matter of fact, I'm glad, Lana, I'm glad you brought this up. I've got a story. Let me find it here real fast. Yeah, CBS News. And when the mainstream media can't get behind the narrative, you know you've done lost this fight. I got a story here from CBS News. Experts analyze new video of fatal ICE agent shooting in Minneapolis. Article by Jeff Wagner. This is from yesterday. Cell phone video taken by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent involving Wednesday's fatal shooting in Minneapolis of Renee Good shows a different view of the incident and the moments leading up to it. To better analyze what's happening in the video, CCO spoke with a use of force expert and a defense attorney. Peter Johnson is the founder of Archway Defense, a company that has trained state, local, and federal law enforcement in firearms for the past decade. He's also a former federal air marshal. Johnson said his biggest takeaway from the video, and listen to this carefully, was a crunching sound he heard immediately before the gunshots, which he believes is the sound of the SUV hitting the ICE agent. Quote, that data point for me shows that there was contact made with the agent who is now in reasonable fear, who could clearly articulate being hit with an SUV as reasonable fear of great bodily harm or death, and then the shots were fired, said Johnson. Folks, I don't care how you come to it. This is self-defense. Did I see the cop's body cam? No. And Gypsy just sent me something a second ago. Hang on a minute. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, this is about 13 hours ago. Let me pop this up here. Now, you might ask yourself the question, why are not the Minneapolis police helping these ICE agents? I mean, after all, they are law enforcement. They are brothers in arms. Well, y'all explain this to me, because it may very well be that Minneapolis police have decided that it's better for them not to be involved in this. Here's a video that Nick Sortor, who's on the ground in Minneapolis, here's a video that he shot. Check this out. These are anti-ICE protesters. Watch this.
Back up. Hey, Chief, why are you letting your city get like this? Why are you letting your city just walk like this? Sorry, let's go. What the fuck is going on?
The police are just walking off. At least that's what it looks like to me.
You're a bunch of fucking bitches. Fuck you.
No, not me. It's not me. Oh shit! Let me back. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, they're just rolling out of there. Okay. All right. I got some more thoughts about this, and I want to get you guys' take. And oh my goodness, hold my cow. Even CBS is reporting self-defense. A super chat from Miss Pate. Wow, thank you so very much. Gosh, y'all are just, bless your hearts, y'all are being incredibly generous this morning. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to quote somebody that I normally do not quote, but he posted something the other day, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. Nick Rekieta, who himself is a resident of the state of Minnesota and is a lawyer, doesn't practice anymore, but he is still a lawyer, brought up a really interesting point. He said the federal government is going to win out in these matters because of the supremacy clause. While you may disagree, and this is not necessarily his words, these are mine, I'm injecting here. While somebody may not agree with the actions of ICE, you cannot impede their efforts. Now, you want to have a policy disagreement with the current federal government, fine, go ahead. But if ICE rolls into town, you cannot impede their efforts, because guess what? You can argue sanctuary city all you want to. You can argue sanctuary state all you want to. Guess what? Federal law is supreme. If federal law says that ICE can come into an area and remove illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, guess what? Goodbye. They're out of here. And you cannot impede ICE in the implementation of their duty. It's provided that they are acting within the bounds of the law. Now, I also want to quote somebody else, Mark Grobert of the great partnership with Eric Hunley and Mark Grobert. They together have a YouTube channel called America's Untold Stories. And Grobert brought up a great point last night. You're having these ICE agents being attacked because Trump will not drop the hammer. And what does he mean by that? Well, Grobert's point is this. You've got to go in full force, heavy down, and say, hey, we have some, you interfere with us on this stuff. Guess what? We will invoke the Insurrection Act, and ain't a thing you can do about it. Not a thing. Not a thing. Yeah, Gypsy, I just saw what you sent me, and thank you for sending it in. And we were just looking at that a moment ago, but I'll pop it back up here. I will pop it back up here. One more time, if you want proof that this was self-defense, this is from the angle. This is from the angle of the ICE agent who took the shot. He gets out of his vehicle. Comes around to the front.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. It's fine. You citizen, former fucking country.
Okay, circles around the back end, comes around to the side one more time.
Lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
Backs up, starts forward, shots fired. Oh, no worries. No worries. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. This is self-defense. This is self-defense. And by the way, there are reports in the media. Matter of fact, I think it was the Minneapolis Star Tribune who had this report. The agent who took the shots in this incident 6 months before had been run or somebody attempted to run over him in another vehicle. Different city, different set of circumstances. But somebody attempted to run over him. Now, let's back this up for a second and put it in the perspective of the ICE agent who took the shots. 6 months earlier, someone had attempted to run over you in a different city, different vehicle, different situation. You are standing either in front of or almost in front of this vehicle. The vehicle backs up, starts to move forward. You've already had one attempt on your life in a different city. You don't know what's going through the mind of this woman behind the wheel. She's already been ordered to exit the vehicle, get out from behind the driver's seat. She won't do it. So she's refused the order to get out of the car. She's behind the wheel. She just backed it up. She's now moving the car forward. You 6 months earlier had somebody attempt on your life. What does anybody expect this guy to do? He acted in self-defense. I don't know how else you come to that conclusion. It's crazy. Yeah. According to reports, this guy was hit and dragged 6 months earlier. Yeah, and people who are Andrew Branca is a fantastic lawyer. For those of you who don't follow his channel, it's the Law of Self-Defense. I recommend you give him a follow. But Branca's even looking at this thing going, self-defense. But the Democrats are doing everything they can to turn this into George Floyd 2.0. They think they've got it. You don't believe me? Check this out. From the BBC, second night of U.S. protests over ICE shooting of woman in Minneapolis by Madeline Halpert. We've got the following. People took to the streets of Minneapolis and other U.S. cities for a second night to protest against the killing of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, who was shot in her car by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent. Demonstrators marched in Houston, Cincinnati, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and other cities, some with placards calling for the abolition of ICE. People laid floral tributes where Good's car crashed after the shooting, just blocks away from the place where George Floyd was killed. Here we go. I am telling you. They are trying to turn this. They are trying to turn this into George Floyd 2.0. And they think they've got it. They think they've got it. And oh, by the way, the administration has responded to these people who are marching, have been marching for the past couple of days. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but just in case you haven't, here you go.
Attention, retards. I repeat, attention, retards. If you're a Minnesota Democrat snowflake, please move along. We're trying to get rid of all you retards from our small towns and cities. So if you watch CNN, you're definitely retarded, and you need to leave now. Please grab your belongings and join this group of retards leaving the city. We will deport you back to Retardistan, a beautiful place full of specially retarded people like you. Believe me.
So there you go, folks. The Trump administration is trying to get a handle on this thing, so we will see what happens. Indeed. Well, okay. Great question. That's a great question. And by the way, speaking of the lady, Renee Good, did you guys know any of the following facts about this woman? Check this out from the New York Post. Headline, Renee Nicole Good was Minneapolis Ice Watch, quote, warrior who trained to resist the feds before shooting. Article by Stephen Vago, Chris Nessie, and Natalie O'Neill of the New York Post. We've got the following. Renee Nicole Good, the mom who was killed by a federal agent after veering her car towards him, was an anti-ICE, quote, warrior and was part of a group of activists who worked to document and resist the federal immigration crackdown in Minneapolis, the Post can reveal. Renee Good, who moved to the city last year, linked up with the anti-ICE activists through her 6-year-old son's woke charter school, which boasts that it puts, quote, social justice first and prioritizes, quote, involving kids in political and social activism, multiple local sources said. She was a warrior. She died doing what was right. A mother named Lisa, whose child attends the same school, told the Post at a growing vigil where Good was killed Wednesday. Quote, I know she was doing the right thing. I watched the video plenty of times, but I also know in my heart the woman she was doing everything right. Good and her wife, Rebecca, age 40, were raising the boy together in the mostly working class, activist heavy neighborhood of South Minneapolis, which features tree-lined streets and a large number of homes with windows decked out in LGBTQ plus flags or signs depicting George Floyd. Just as many others did in the lefty enclave, Good sent her son to Southside Family Charter School, a K through 5th grade academy, opened in 1972 that from its inception has been unabashedly dedicated to, quote, social justice education, according to co-founder Susie Oppenheim. Oh, boy, this lady. Yay. Yeah. Yeah, so, yep. There you go, folks. There you go. And it's spreading, by the way. It's spreading all over the country. ICE agents had to open up shots on 2 people in Portland just recently. You know, I have resisted using these words, but I really do believe it. If we are not already in the middle of one, we are headed for a civil war. We are absolutely headed for a civil war, and it's over the question of immigration. Well, and you know, TBA, I'm glad you brought this up. I am really glad you brought this up because this goes to something else. And I think this is the only way we're going to turn this around. And that is education. What's the old expression? The hand that rocks the cradle shall rule the world. The hand that rocks the cradle shall rule the world. We have lost control of our education. Our children that are being educated now are being trained to hate the country they live in. Now, there's no other way of saying it. They are being trained to hate the country they live in. My only prayer is, can we hold the country together long enough, get a hold of our education system, and turn this thing around? I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. Very true. Robert says if she was conservative, her group would be labeled domestic terrorist. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. Pray for our country, folks. Seriously. Pray for our country. Cause this is getting bad. Truly, this is getting bad. I am genuinely frightened for where we are. Genuinely. Yeah. That's a good point, Lana. That's a real good point. Truly. All right, let us move on to a slightly different subject. And Greenland. You know, I've always said that foreign intervention by the United States is a very heady tonic. And what do I mean by that? Whenever the United States government intervenes somewhere in the world and it's declared a success, however you want to define that, there is always the temptation, let's go somewhere else and do something. Now, that said, a lot of people are making big ballyhoo about Greenland, and I can understand why. As a matter of fact, TBA just sent me something. Hang on, I gotta look at this real quick. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, this will all right. We're gonna throw this into the discussion. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, TBA. I appreciate that. Greenland's a little bit different. However, I'm a little bit worried, a little bit, but not a huge amount. I'm a little bit worried that Trump is just a little too happy with himself in terms of using the military right now. And if you don't understand what I'm
right now,
Trump was giving comments at the White House when the oil executives visited, and someone asked him about Greenland. Well, here's what our president had to say.
Right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay? I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
Oh, man. Oh, what does that even mean? Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Okay, wait a sec. You didn't share any of the pictures of the fun you had from your streaming break. Not even a cranberry dessert picture. I'm sorry, sir. Okay. I got to do something about this somewhere in the future. Let me see if I can find some pictures to post for next time, and I will try to make this up to you, sir. I promise. I promise indeed. Oh my, wait a minute. Salty's in the house. Good morning, Salty. Good morning, sir. All right, but Scott, we'll do our best to make it up to you, sir. This I promise. Not even cranberry dessert picture. Ugh. Let me see what I can do, brother. I'll see if I can make this up to you. All right. So Trump's a little bit happy with himself. We're going to get Greenland. We're going to do a deal on Greenland. And everybody, and well, by the way, if you did not know, Greenland is a protectorate, I suppose best way of saying it, a protectorate of Denmark. Well, when Trump said he's ready to do it the hard way on Greenland, hey, Denmark responded that they have an absolutely foolproof defense ready to go if the U.S. tries anything militarily in Denmark. Matter of fact, they're not afraid of us. Matter of fact, the Denmark foreign ministry issued a statement that says, we're not scared. You know. So, yeah, that Denmark is fully ready to defend Greenland. I'm just saying. But if a deal goes down and we acquire Greenland, oh my goodness, hold my cow. Speaking of pictures, yes, it did, my dear. It did indeed. That fedora was very nice looking on you, young lady. Indeed, very much. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. But if it goes down and we do acquire Greenland, apparently there are questions about what we should rename it. And a new name has already been figured out that goes like this. We're going to call it Mara Igloo. So if we get our hands on this land, yep, Mara Igloo, there you go. We can share the picture of you in the fedora? Okay, well, hang on just a second. Let me see if I can get my hands on this. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, one moment, please. See, I've always said we're going to bring back fedoras as a fashion statement. This is Miss Lana from back in the day in her fedora and looking very stylish, might I add. So there you go, young lady. There you go. Looks good on you. It really does. Really does look good on you. So a hat tip to the lady. So there you go, folks. There you go. Oh, so we should rename it America Land? Okay, I got no problem with that. I'm good with it. So I'm real good with it. So yeah, Denmark's ready to throw down. We're ready to rename it. And as a matter of fact, the odds of us actually buying Greenland, TBA just sent me this on is that Polymarket? Yeah, it is Polymarket. Yeah, highest odds this year that we're going to do a deal to buy Greenland. So I tell you what, I think this might happen. But everybody's all up in arms about this. I'd like to point out some things. And this was posted on Twitter. In 1946, the U.S. made a formal offer to purchase Greenland from Denmark for $100 million in gold. God, that's cheap. That's 1946. The proposal emerged after World War II when the U.S. had taken responsibility for Greenland's defense during the war, establishing military bases on the island. U.S. officials viewed Greenland as vital for national security, especially with the onset of the Cold War. They believed controlling Greenland would provide significant military advantages. In 2019, Denmark, which holds sovereignty over Greenland, deemed the president's idea ridiculous. In the U.S., critics lambasted his project as megalomaniacal or un-American. But the idea isn't outlandish to President Trump. Politicians from both parties have negotiated such deals with the U.S. throughout U.S. history. Jefferson made the Louisiana Purchase and then flirted with buying Cuba. John Quincy Adams arranged for debt relief in exchange for Florida. William Seward, the Secretary of State, purchased Alaska. What Trump proposes is consistent with American tradition and within our current borders. Sovereign purchases are responsible for 40% of U.S. land. Though Danish leaders today imply the idea of selling sovereignty is out of touch with their national values, the country has a long history of doing just that. In 1845, the King of Denmark accepted millions of rupees from the East India Company to transfer control of multiple Danish hubs in India. In the early 1900s, Denmark's leadership, despairing the loss of Schleswig-Holstein to Bismarck's Prussia, floated a possible sale of Greenland to the U.S. The U.S. didn't agree, but in January 1917 paid $25 million to Denmark for another remote Danish possession of strategic importance, the U.S. Virgin Islands. So it's not like Denmark hasn't sold us land before. I did not realize that we'd bought the U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark. But yeah, it makes strategic sense. And I personally hope we do it. Everybody's all bent out of shape about this. I don't know. I think this is a good idea. I think a genuinely good idea. But I hope we do it by purchase, not military intervention. All right. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, a toast as we go into this new year, which I wish, perhaps this could have been done earlier, but, circumstances being what they are, a toast to all of you. And it goes like this. May your 2026 be as profitable as a Somalian daycare. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. May your 2026 be as profitable as a 2025 Somalian daycare. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Cheers to all of you. A glass in your direction. Prost. For all of you of German descent out there. Okay. Now, I bring that up to kind of bring the show toward the leering is fundamental. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. To start to bring the show toward the train station. And I'm going to share with you a group of videos. And I thought you might get a kick out of some of these. And I got to thank WWG1, TBA, among others, for sharing these. Here you go, folks.
Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
You're taking billions and billions of dollars. Yo ho, we now know the Democrats on the ring, exploiting Somalis for profit and gain. Their women are so damn ugly. They marry their brothers on money they steal with white liberals enabling. Yo ho, stop, ho, give us back all our money. Incestuous family, so many things wrong. You're dirty, your governor's gay. Your scam is exposed, we're coming for you. Your women's senators look like men. Oh, your party is over, we're coming for you. You're ghetto pirates at best. It's time to deport, it's time to expose. It's time for criminal arrest. Yo ho, we now know the Democrats on the ring. You're a bunch of retarded pirates.
Count on the Millie meme team. Oh, and by the way, Robert, this one is for you, please. This one is for you. Oh, you want the link to that one? You got it. One moment, please. I will put this on the Rumble side, and I will put this on the YouTube side. There you go, folks. Oh, hey, who's that guy? What? Hang on. What is this? And remember, and Robert, remember this. Unleer what you must leer, you must. There you go. There you go. That one's for you, my friend. That one is for you. Matter of fact, Robert, I'm dropping it in chat. Boy. Folks, now I'm making fun of what's going on in Minnesota, but honestly, billions on billions of dollars. And I think that Minneapolis, or Minnesota, I should say, the state of Minnesota is the tip of the iceberg. Everybody's focusing on what's going on in Minnesota. I'm telling you right now, this has the potential to open the door on so much fraud across the United States. I've got a number that I'm going to put up here in a minute, and if this is true, it is astounding. But, oh, by the way, did you guys see the latest ad from Tim Walz trying to get you to come to Minnesota? Check this out.
Welcome to Minnesota.
Whoop, hang on. There we go.
Welcome to Minnesota, where every moment is an adventure. From the tranquil natural beauty of our waters to the rich culture of our cities, Minnesota is where unforgettable memories are made.
Go inside now! Get in the house!
Step into friendly neighborhoods that make you feel right at home the moment you arrive. Stroll through vibrant streets, soak in the energy of our dynamic nightlife, or indulge in a shopping spree at one of our world-class boutiques. And behind it all is strong leadership and inclusive policies that create a place where everyone can thrive. Minnesota, we're ready to be your next adventure.
Yeah, buddy, makes me want to go there. All right, I'll tell you what. I will put the recipe out there next week. I will put the recipe out there. I'll do that for you. That seems fair. Oh, some more. Now, by the way, a lot of people feel like we're picking on the Somali refugees, and they have made a statement about this. So just to let you know.
Hey guys, well, I'm the only Somali who speaks English, so they always call me to come talk to you white people and to tell you, please stop investigating us and let us do fraud in peace. Somalis are a peaceful fraud community. We want to steal taxpayer money in peace without FBI jailing our ass. We even hired this liberal crazy white bitch to come act like she supports us. Look at her. Look at that Karen face and the eyes. It's always the eyes. Anyway, please stop investigating us and let us steal your taxpayer money in peace.
Well, there you go, folks. There you go. They're just trying to rob us in peace. And by the way, here's a number.
$1 a year.
I'm going to pop this up on screen so you can see it. If this is true, I want you right now, do me a favor before I put this up here. Take a guess. Take a guess over let's call it a 5-year period. Take a guess how much nationwide the federal government is losing in fraud. Just take a guess. Okay. You don't necessarily have to put the answer in chat unless you want to, but just take a guess. Get a figure in your head. And now let me show you. And I'm going to play this 20 seconds worth of video. Watch this.
nationwide. And it's considered that even that number you're seeing there, $233 to $521 billion a year, that's probably on the low end, that it's actually much higher, because that just comes from a small number of federal agencies that actually report improper payments. Medicare, Medicaid hold the largest share of that. So now this major fraud investigation.
Let me back that up and let you guys see it. Y'all are popping numbers in. 84 billion, 55 billion, 800 billion. Yeah. 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 Over a 5-year period. On the low end, it's 233 billion. High end, and this, and like she said, this figure is probably low. I mean, we're probably talking about, look, I'm going to say $1 trillion. I'm going to say half a trillion to $1 trillion a year in just fraud. And I got to give credit to Nick Shirley and Nick Sortor, but Nick Shirley in particular. I mean, what they've exposed in Minnesota, Tim Walz is not running for re-election. The attorney general ought to be investigated for not investigating any of it. The whole government up there ought to come down. I mean, what's going on up there is just absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right. 2 last things. And we'll call it a day. Okay, hang on a minute. All right, there we go. Did you know that the CIA has a program that utilizes cats in clandestine work? Let me say that again. Did you know that the CIA has a program that utilizes felines for clandestine work? Now, you might ask yourself the question, why would the federal government's spy agency use cats? Okay, hang on. You want to know why they're using cats to help out with clandestine operations? Well, let me show you. Ladies and gentlemen, the CIA put out a training video on why it is cats are being used. So, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Yep. Hey, if they can do all that, I understand now exactly why it is that the CIA is employing cats in their clandestine operations. But you also ask yourself the question, how tough are they? Well, ladies and gentlemen,
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying to chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of the night, living in the gangster's paradise. Spending most of the night, living in the gangster's paradise. Keep spending most of the night, living in the gangster's paradise.
Hey, dangerously tough. What? Oh, you mean the CIA is not doing this anymore? Oh my. Well, yeah. Okay. Well. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, all right. Let's bring this thing into a conclusion. Thank you guys so much for being here for the very first live stream of 2026. This has been a load of fun. And well, hang on. He needs. All right, fine. Give me 1 second, folks. And if you're wanting those, there's one. All right, just dropped it on one side. Gonna drop it on the other. Tell you what, the things I do for my audience, I tell you what. All right. Thank you guys ever so much for being here for Front Porch Brunch. This has been a load of fun, as always. I said that this year I'm going to try and do videos through the week. The first week has obviously not been successful. I wasn't feeling well Monday. And I think now I've got a rhythm to my week and to my year. So hopefully videos coming out next week. And for sure, we'll be back next Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. for Front Porch Brunch. Anyway, you guys have yourselves a great weekend. By the way, if you're a football fan, hey, the NFL playoffs start today, so you got football all over the place. May you enjoy it with your family and your friends. In the meanwhile, have yourself a great rest of the weekend. And remember, and much thanks also for all the super chats and the super stickers. Greatly appreciated. You guys are extremely generous this morning. So remember the words of that great American philosopher Tom T. Hall when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Love you guys very much. Have yourselves a great rest of the weekend, and we will see you either in a video or we'll see you next Saturday morning. Bye-bye.